Hello, everybody, and welcome to Life After Death and Beyond. I'm James Van Praagh, and I'm here with my friend Kellee White. Hi, Kellee.
Hi, James. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Kellee. I'm on this. This is my new studio for right now. It's my office.
Looks good.
We just discussed. Yeah, but I'm gonna get a Mac because I need a PC. But your camera's so clear.
It is.
Like,
It
I
is.
want to get that, so we're gonna work.
Mac is the way to go.
I'm gonna do the Mac. Hey, everybody. So tonight we're gonna discuss spirit guides and connecting with your spirit guides. And everything there is about spirit guides. And I wrote a book on spirit guides.
Okay, well, not only did you wrote a book, Wisdom of Spirit Guides, which I teach a lot out of this book. It's a fabulous book, everybody. And your cards, James, the message from the guides. But I have a question for you. You are really the goat here. You know, the person that the goat. You're the goat. You're the grand old. You're the one that goes way back with this. You know, and. Whatever it is, they call it the goat, the greatest of all time. That's it. That's what that stands for. But you're the OG. I think that's what it is. Right? How did you get into spirit guides?
Well, that's a good question. You know, similar to what you did with when you first searched one of your guides, it's very similar, different ways. So the three ways I can tell you about. How can I say? I would say, well. Gosh, it's so weird. When I was in development, so I was in my development circle with my teacher, Brian Hurst, and we used to sit every Tuesday night, about an hour, 15 minutes, every Tuesday night, and we would really just sit in the power, and we really didn't get anything for each other. We just felt the energies and felt spirit work on our energetic bodies, our work in the auric fields. And really, for me, Kellee, it was brand new because I'd never experienced it. This is my first time because he noticed that I had this ability, and he said, "You're going to be working with spirit in 2 years' time," and that did happen. That timing happened. But I didn't necessarily come into this work because I wanted to do it. I didn't want to be famous, nothing like that. I really just wanted to be a sitcom writer, and that's what I said. Somebody said, "You're going to be a medium that's going to change the consciousness of the planet," and I said, "I just want to be a sitcom writer." In 2 years' time, and make a long story short, everyone's probably heard it. 2 years happened exactly to the day. Then I started doing messages that came through very clearly. And so he invited me to sit in this development circle. I didn't even know what that was. And explain to sitting the power of your soul and working this energy, let them work with you. And as it got a more progressive development circle every Tuesday, I would feel a thickening in the room. I guess you could say a thickening in the auric field. I got very aware of the spaces around me, in front of me, and I was aware of these beings, and spirit will work with the auric field. You'll feel, sometimes you're sitting up circle, you'll feel a push. And it's because they're working on over here, naturally they'll feel pushing this way. So they're working on the fields of you. They work on the mechanics of your spirit body, of your energetic body, the higher levels of your being. So they can, and I explain it like this, which I love that analogy. It's like opening up the hood of a car and tinkering with the engine.
Yeah.
This is old time. And it's really like working at fine tuning your sensitivity, if you will. I mean, and I knew that right away. I said there was a man there. I recognized this gentleman as far as he was wearing a white coat, and he came through and he said, "I'm a chemist." And he was a doctor, Dr. Harry. And Dr. Harry lived in London. I think it was Dr. Harry Aldridge. I wrote about it in Talking to Heaven. And he lived in London in the 30s. And I looked him up and found him. And they were working on my system, on my energetic system. But there were also another team of doctors, let's say, scientists and doctors that were working on this organism and making it more sensitized, even to perfect it to be able to pick up the subtle energies of the spirit world. And then we became aware of him. I looked at him, and then I became aware it was so there's different times. Then I sat in a seance with Leslie Flint, who was the great physical medium with a voice box in the air, and everybody can hear him on the internet at leslieflint.com. And he sat from the 1940s to the 1980s. And I sat with him, and their voices came through. My mother came through with her voice, and we're all sitting there once. And I heard, I should play it once for all you guys. This because I still have the cassette tape. "I want to talk to James. I want to talk to James. James, can you hear me?" And I guess, and it was a Frenchman. He said, "When I was in your world, I worked in the Paris Opera, and I felt sensitive, like you're sensitive, you're a psychic. We have many plans for you." And he was a Frenchman. I looked him up and found, indeed, he was in the French opera in 1860s, I think. He had his beard, and it was so funny because I had the name. And that was that guy, and he was working with the team. And then I did my own development circle for a long time, and I would go into the slight trance. And I remember that we would record every time in development circle. Just we didn't ever knew it was going to happen. And we sit in a development circle. You're sitting for we were sitting just for the power to help ourselves, if you will. Many times in development circle, you'll find that the focus is really generated for one medium, but indeed everybody gets something. So I went to this light. I guess it was a trance, and people afterwards, after we finished, I came back and they said, "Well, that was amazing." I said, "What happened?" I felt like I was sleeping. They said, "A guide of yours, a main guide here named Golden Feather came through and started playing the table. We had a table in the front in case it would walk out of the room, which it did several times." And I guess they used me to tap, and it's a tom tom, and there was a current, with the rhythm of it was a certain rhythm, and it was his voice coming through, and it was we are all. I remember we are all brothers. We are all brothers. We are one in this light or whatever he said. I had that on tape. That was another express, a golden feather, and then I have a nun. And that came very early on in my development. A Sister of Mercy, which is I was raised with Sisters of Mercy in my growing up in Catholic school, and I forget her name. I don't. She taught me compassion. She came in. She said, "I'm here in the ray of compassion." The ray of compassion, which I love. And you'll find that these beings, my experience, that different ones have a different vibration and a different reason for being in your life, on your team. And we got to really open up our minds to know that guides or teachers they're all different, and they're for very specific reasons. And the one towards compassion. My mother was my guide as well. I found that out through my teacher, Brian. And he said, "Your mother is one of your guides in mediumship." And I said, "Well, why would that be?" He goes, "Because she didn't feel she did enough for you in the lifetime, so she wants to help you now," which has happened. And that happens quite a lot to everybody, a lot of family members. So that's really the beginnings of that. And I used to see spirit in my bedroom. I used to see spirit guides. I used to work also at Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York. I did a lot of work there. And I used to do this trance work, like light trance healing work. And I'll never forget that I went to this trance, and these beings started coming through and using me. And one, Edgar Casey, came through very clearly. A Zulu warrior, by the way, came through. A Chinese man. He's also a guide of mine. I wrote about this in this book here, but also Heaven. And they change. So guides change as well, depending on your development. So they help you develop in many different ways. And once they've finished that, they move on, because you have to remember that they have guides, and then they have to move on too. So it's a matter of evolution. Yeah. So that's how my guide started, with my awareness.
Wow. Well, because your awareness really alerted me and alerted so many of us out here about spirit guides. And what is the spirit's guide? What's their role, James?
So it's very interesting, because I never, of course, wanted to do with spirit guides, but I knew it was an intricate part to our spiritual makeup, and that people should understand that you're not doing this alone. I think it came out of that, where people were doing, what happens, when you die and your loved ones around you, and they talk about specialists in the spirit world who would help you. And there are those beings and specialists, like, for instance, my brother just passed over, and he came through the other day, and I said, "What kind of work are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm going to be teaching children." I said, "Really?" Yeah, I wouldn't expect that now, would you? And he said, "I'm going to teach them craftsmanship." And then he said, "I'm going to work in what you'd call a soup kitchen, but it's not a soup kitchen, but it's people that are down and out. And I'm going to work for them." And he used to work at AA. He used to work at chapters of AA for 12 years and work with people there. So it was very interesting. So we tend to have those beings around us who help us to, sometimes very similar to our experiences on this life, or our spiritual makeup, or our interests or our passions, to bring them out. From us. And that's really what they're helping us to develop those aspects of our soul, and many different aspects of our life, living in this soul school.
Well, there's a good question here, and I've been asked this question many times. This happens to be from Lisa Jamuzian, and she says,
I was going to ask that.
How will you differentiate between our higher self and our spirit guides?
So that's a very good question, Lisa, and I'm glad you're thinking, but I want you to think out of the box. So remember that this physical body is the densest part of who you are. You have many bodies: an astral body, a mental body, a causal body, a higher self, if you will, the astral body. So there are different levels of this body, the souls. This is the big toe to the soul. There's so much, 70% outside the body, only 30% here. And so the soul is really outside of us. So the higher self is how do we put this to you? Your higher self is your soul self. Your we can put labels on it. It's the higher knowing, the wise self, right? So the differential for me has been that again, here you go back, Kellee. The more you know yourself, the more aware you are, right?
Yes.
So it comes in through meditation, just sitting in the silence, getting to know who you are and what your energy is like, what your intuition is like. You know who you are. So you get this vibration of a higher sense of that, and a higher sense of knowledge of your vibration. It's hard to describe, but a higher level of that awareness, which is kind of a view, maybe we can call it inspiration. Everybody gets inspired. That could be your higher self inspiring you. Now, how do we differentiate that than guides? Well, I would tell you, number one, it doesn't really matter. But number two, there are certain guides that come in for specific reasons. So there could be a philosophical guide who comes to you and you start spreading philosophical things or write things philosophically, like I did in all my books. You know, they said to me once, we pick up your fingers and on the keyboard and work through you. And then do that for all of us. So there are those kind of guides. If you're working in a healing vibration, you'll have a healing guide come to you. And it really goes with, how I can describe it, place a feeling. That feeling you get with the vibration of that frequency of that being, what level they're on. So green could be a healing level of green. For me, I know what healing feels like. Everyone who wants to, when a guide, just generally speaking, when a guide is around you, when the energy really speeds up. And there's this overwhelming sense for me of joy, love, if you will. I talk about joy guides a lot, and I find joy guides to be children. They come and they around someone who needs more joy in their life, and they will impress and send joy. And really, it's very interesting. It's like they will send the joy to the mind of the human, if you will. But also, I think they are somehow able to bring the joy out of us that's embedded within us, right? Yeah. I think they bring it out, and I don't know how they do that, but it's almost like they light up those aspects of our soul that we need. And a healing guide brings balance, understanding, clarity, right? Your philosophical guides, your inspirers, bring inspirations at the highest level. And you can get very high level beings. The more you sit in the quiet, the more you meditate, the more you're self-aware. There's no reason why you can't, but we tend to be set in that human mindset. And that blocks us, see? That blocks us. It's in your heart. It's that energy. And what about your guides, Kellee? Because you had a very interesting time.
I did. I had an extraordinary
time in Tahiti.
It was the time in Tahiti. So I had been reading your book, Talking to Heaven. And in the book, and you wrote this in 1998, I think, right? 1997, 98?
97, 98.
I was reading the book, and it said in that first book, if you wanted to see your guides or talk to your guides, start talking to them all the time, talk to them and tell them you want them to come. So I would say, guides, before I would go to bed, I'd love to see you. Guides, I really want to see you. Guides, on and on and on. And I did this over and over and over for 3 years. And then I had a traumatic brain injury. After my traumatic brain injury, I was in Tahiti, and I looked up, and I saw an Indian man floating over me for about 90 seconds. And I saw him with my physical eyes. And he had a turban. In fact, both my guides had a turban on. And I was told that they were my spirit guides. And I saw them with my physical eyes, which it's very unusual.
Objectively,
right.
It's very rare.
Right. And it really changed my life. That was it.
I've had to have.
Yeah, it changed my life. But I also knew that I recognized both of them. I recognized them not as spirits that I had known, but spirits that went way back with me.
That you felt them.
That I felt
a resonance.
Totally. And I also knew that they knew my goal for being on Earth at this time. And that's my soul, exactly. And that's one thing about guides that we should talk about, that they know our blueprint. They know why we're here. They will give us guidance. If we get real quiet, and follow your intuition also. You have to follow your intuition.
They'll impress you, but you got you got to open up your mind to that.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yes, absolutely.
You.
Yeah.
And It's really important. And that's very interesting because a lot of people wonder what the name of their guides is. I find that's so human because they don't necessarily have names. They don't need names.
I did not know my guides' names, and I saw them with my physical eye. I did not know them.
I would say it's more an energetic feelings. I know what a healing guide feels like. I know what a master guide feels like. I know what a gatekeeper feels like.
Yes.
And they all feel very, very differently. And everybody has to feel them on their own, in their own way. And one of the things which you did, Kellee, which everybody should do, and I read about that in the book, is, set a time aside every day at the exact same time, because you're really setting up an invitation for the spirit guides to come to you and to work with you. So if you're going to sit in the quiet, which I recommend everybody does every day, then let them work on that space around you. And you can ask, spirit guide, let me be aware of a gatekeeper. Give me a symbol. Give me a sign. How do I know my healing guide? Give me a feeling of the healing. So maybe they'll touch your left shoulder. So anytime you feel the left shoulder being moved, your healing guide is close to you. So there are different communications that you can set up with each one of those guides and know it. And they can't get in your way. They can't do the work for you, but they certainly, like you said, do guide us along the way.
They guide us. I mean, remember, we have free will here also. So in the game of life, we have free will.
Yeah. So. And there are different types. Look at the relationship guides to talk about. So there are guides that work with relationships with us, with people, because we learn so many lessons with people, with interacting with people, friends, partners, work colleagues. We learn so much. Yeah. And there are those that help us with relationships. And, and there's a lot to learn there. I mean, I was just recently in one, which it was very difficult with a person that was not mentally connected, but I had to go through it, but use as much compassion as possible. Not easy, but I know there was a relationship guide there helping with that. And they're specialists, I guess you could say. You call them specialists, And my mother, the first was my Zulu warrior. I actually draw him out what it looked like. And I said, and he would pounce with his stick. And that was in the development circle I was in with Brian. And he said, I'm your gatekeeper. I'm like, what is that? And what they do is they set up a space in that development circle. It's a sacred space they set up. So any wanderers from spirit who want to see what's going on, they keep out. They keep out.
Interesting.
A gatekeeper will do that.
Yeah.
Don't need to worry about possession or evil, all that. It's of the lower mind. It's of the lower part.
Right.
And
we can have guides that change too. We have some guides that can stay
guides
with us.
They're right, exactly right. There are guides that are with you for your lifetime here, right? And that their job, like our job is here to go through school, and they are going to be our teachers, if you will, guides for the remainder of our entire life. They're assigned to us for our entire life. And they probably are some of the guides that we worked with, planning our pre-life. They worked.
I was just going to say they help us plan the pre-life, and I'm sure that if there's a council there that helps figure this out, who should be the best guide for us.
But then also it's also an interesting thing in that you have guides who, let's say you're going to go in to do some oil painting. You really don't know much about oil painting, but you want to start that. You will will attract you a being who has an expertise in oil painting, and they will impress you with that. Now, I've had a lot of writers come through me. Walt Whitman once came through to me.
Wow.
Yeah, I've had a lot of Andrew Jackson, Ben Franklin. I've had Lincoln. Yeah, I've had a lot of some other writers come through, and I've worked with many lyricists and composers, and my latest project. Let me tell you this, kid. It just came today. I'm doing a workshop.
Okay.
And it's going to be a show.
Really?
Yeah, like a chorus line. It's going to workshop. I have someone who does a choreography and music, and we're going to be working on that. That's going to be my new creative project next to my book.
But you love the creative process. So would you say that this is a new guide that's impressed?
I will tell you that is the first time I thought of this, and this is a creative guide.
Okay.
And it could be someone who knows would know about show business or working with a workbook. And I've brought through a lot of theatrical people from a theatrical family.
Yep.
So they're all coming in, right? So why wouldn't they? I mean, even like when you're a singer, you have guides who might have been experts in the voice. I know guides who've been, if we can say mediums. I know that I've had lots of mediums. Mental mediums around me, and one of my friends, Mavis Patilla, comes in a lot.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, she was there yesterday at the workshop.
Oh, she was?
Oh, she certainly was. James, make sure you keep it on time. Okay, Mavis, I will.
10 minutes each.
10 minutes each.
I have to go have a smoke.
I need a fag, Jane. Give me a fag. Yeah. She's great, but she comes in a lot. I'm sure to you she comes in a
Yeah,
lot. But
she
there's so much
does.
interest down here in many ways, and so they'll change depending upon your interests, what you're going to be doing, and even like new mothers and fathers, you'll
Oh,
get
for
guides who
sure.
are nurturing to help with the family
Yes.
guides.
Yeah.
That it happens. What's your, it's really interesting what we put out to the universe. And listen, I'm writing this TED Talk thing, and it's a lot. I'm talking about what we put in the ether is our thoughts and acts and words are power. There's power with those. There's a
Mhm.
real life to each one of those. So it's what you're putting out into the ethers and your fields, if you will. And that, of course, let's think about that. If you have 50 watts, you can attract 50 watts in. I mean, what you're putting out, you're going to attract you, because like attracts like. We are magnets. We are magnets. And there's beings who want to help us progress and grow. And they do that. So that's who
Oh,
they are.
it's so true, James. What is the best way for somebody to get in contact with their guide?
Well, there are several different ways. Okay. So, and also before I get to that part, I want to talk about, yes, because someone's asking me this. I can hear it. Someone here. I don't know. I just have a feeling.
Belinda.
Animals can be your guides.
Oh, for sure.
Animals can be your guides,
Mhm.
without a doubt. They can teach you strength. They can they can teach you unconditional love, whether in the body or out of the body. My animals I've had before are still around me, helping me with love.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's really interesting. So in order to get in touch with the spirit guides, if you would like to do that, again, it's got to be, and this is my experience and my opinion. Other people can tell you something very, very different, which is fine. But my experience is it's a process, and you have to commit. Right?
Yes.
Us humans are so quick that I need it now. I need it now. Just like, what is the name?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't hear them. How come you can hear them and I can't hear them?
You can't
Yeah.
do a spiritual bypass,
Yeah.
kids.
Sorry.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
No, it's a progression, and it helps you with your own spirituality, your sense
Yeah.
of soul. So if you put the time aside, whether with afternoon, evening, when you wake up is a very good time, actually. I always like to do it when I first wake up, because we're in that kind of twilight state. And I'd always keep a journal next to you. Always have a journal so you can write remarks down, inspirations. And you can also call this, have fun with it, called inspiration time. And maybe it's 11 o'clock every morning, and you have a notebook that you write. I carry one all the time. Always have one around me, because you never know when you're going to get something
So
from
true.
someone, and you'll read it later. Wow, that's interesting how that came, because you're just channeling it. You're that stream of consciousness. You're going to get into a stream of consciousness, and you'll be able to feel your guide and feel your guides and ask them to come to you. Say, dear spirit friend, come to me. And like you did, Kellee, I want to see you. I want to see you. So whatever your intention is, make sure it's pure. Make sure it's the same intention. Don't change it up.
And there are, what I've noticed too, is that people can share guides.
Oh, 100%. Oh, definitely. Oh,
I mean,
and there's some guys that put the two people together if they can too.
Exactly.
Sure.
That happens. And what I've also noticed, James, lately, when I do spirit guide readings, I've noticed, I call them the white robed guides, wisdom guides. I have been seeing so many people now with wisdom guides around them, and more than 1, 2, and 3. You can always tell if somebody's a healer if they come in with 3 to 6 guides. Either something's going on physically with them, or mentally, or some sort of something's going on.
You can feel the energy of the guides
feel
around.
the energy. Oh, totally.
That frequency. Yeah, I understand that, because I know with a lot of guides, when I do a lot of meditations with people, guided meditations, to see their guides, or they're doing just a little bit. But I was walking up my steps here to my office, and I took this. I just took this pill all the time, but I just said, oh, I'm going to do a meditation for guides, and they sent me this whole new way of doing it. I'm like, oh, okay. Was that? Yeah, I'm going to try that. I said, okay, let's try that tonight. So it's a whole different way of tuning into that to guides. So we'll see what happens. But it is a sense of the same time discipline. Have a book there, and also, and someone. Oh, there's one of my guides right now. It's a text from someone. Okay, yeah. I lately, when I did those guided meditation guides, I saw a lot of white robes, and then I would ask people. I say, when you see the white robe, what kind of belt are they wearing?
Yeah.
Singed up, and perhaps I'll show you that. Maybe it's gold. What does gold mean to you? So let yourself be curious, that art of discovery, and feel what they're there for. And why are they in your space? What are they helping you with? What are they helping? And this is so weird. Sometimes I get an image of like, I'm trying to now that I'm older, it's easy, getting up off a chair, and there's someone helping me up. So I say, who's helping me? And it's just symbolic,
wow.
Right?
So important.
Now, let's say every day the door is open, someone opens the door for you. Do it with your meditation. Who's opening the door? What guide of mine is opening the door? So make it a kind of daily activity that you do and see who's there. If you knock on a door and someone opens, see who's there. So before you ask a guide to come in, you'll know the feeling, the energy when they open the door. When you see them, you'll feel it. So that connection's got to be set up. You're making an invitation and you're making an appointment with them. Yeah. It's important you keep it, because I find, Kellee, that if you sit at the same time, that's every day or every week, if you really do that, you're setting a time, an invitation, and it's building that energy up. It's building energy, and it's working for you and for them.
I did it for 3 years, and I did it before I would go to bed. For me, that was the time that I would do it. But every day for 3 years.
Yeah. So this is very interesting. So someone just says about, what guides give us a future. Yeah, if they're allowed to. So they're and intuitive people and psychics can do that as well. And you yourself can pick up your intuition self if you take the time to do it. Yeah. So stop looking outside yourself for that. Go inside. This is where the higher self comes in. So about the higher self giving information, we can call it intuition, that gut. But I think your higher self is really connected with your soul, your intuition. I think that oh yeah, I just heard that. Thank you. It's the higher aspects of your soul, your higher self. Yes, I just heard Margaret say that to me. Now, who's Margaret? She's a guide that comes here that works on the show with Kellee and myself.
Yeah, she does.
About 2 years ago or a year ago.
She just showed up.
These lovely little inspirations. She just said that to me. So that's really funny. But yeah, so guides do change, and there are people that are on the earth that are earth guides too, by the way. So there are people on earth, and I know this from several people. I met Kellee, and we're meant to be with each other. But there are people in your life that will help you on your path that are set up in your blueprint to meet, and they'll change your life. Yes. So Fred Rogers, who I loved, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood that I lived on when I was 13, I used to watch it because I just loved his energy. And he had a wonderful documentary, and he would say, if you want to know who your guides are on the earth, he goes, look around and see who changed your life, who changed your mindset on this earth, who changed your life, who can you, the first person you can think of. And I can think of, my friend Connie, who really inspired me, made me believe in myself, and told me that I was a strong person, and she let me believe in myself. And that's my first book was dedicated to her. But there are these earth guides that you have that step in and kind of focus you, help you believe in yourself.
Sure.
Whatever that might be. So we have them as well.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure, James. Oh my gosh. Wow. I know what I was going to say, James. I've actually had dreams with my guides as well. Have you ever dreamt about your guides? Do you remember doing that?
What is that? The dreams with them?
Yeah, just have a dream.
Yes, many times. Oh, yeah, many times of that. And it's always interesting. It's different. And there are different types of dreams. So lately I've had mental dreams, which is like trying to resolve some negative things in my head because of crazy things going on, right? Yeah. But there have been dreams I've had with guides, and these have been different colored robes. But it's some different atmospheres. Sometimes I'll see them in a kitchen setting, a classroom setting, a garden. It's always different. It's always
so
different.
True.
Yeah. This is something I want to tell with people too. When I wrote my book, Lessons from My Guides. What do they usually teach us? Well, they teach us many things, but mainly never judge another, follow the golden rule, give without expectations, being true to yourself. Don't relinquish your power away, believing in yourself. Your beliefs are right for you. And be yourself. Or the greater truths, accept struggles as lessons. And I always do now is struggles. I tell people all the time, that the hardest part of our life, like the hardest situations of people in our lives, are our greatest teachers, because they'll make you deep within and see how you feel. Don't judge them right away. Just see what this opportunity allows. Instead of emotionally get involved in it, which we're common to do as human reactors, right? See the bigger picture. Okay, why am I in this scenario? And it gets really helpful when you realize there are no accidents. It really does help. Realize everything's in divine timing, and how messed up and screwed up things are. I think there's a divine timing, a divine reason behind it all. I don't think humans know it all, but I think that there's something going on there for you to learn. And it's the people in your life that are the hardest. Family members.
Oh yeah, please. Some of the greatest struggles and the greatest things I've learned. But James, really, if I think about it, you're a guide to so many here on Earth.
Yeah, I'm an Earth guide to a lot of people. Yeah. Sure. I help many people to find themselves and understand who they are. And Yeah, that's been
To
my mission.
explain what life is about, really, on such a deep level.
Yeah, I guess. I guess one part of life.
Mhm.
I mean, this, the older I get, the more I realize there's so many worlds and vastness and the universe is, and this is one part. But one thing I'm very proud of is giving out compassion and love to people
Mhm.
as I can, and living that way, because I just wrote about this in my TED talk. A successful life is when you look back and say, "Wow, the earth is a better place than when I found it."
Yeah, boy, so
Very,
true, so true.
yeah.
Oh,
Everybody should have it. Everybody has that a possibility to
yeah.
do that. And you just got to get out of your own head, the human part of you, and use that higher self and that guidance from your higher self. That's really, really important.
Right, right. Oh my God, so true.
Kelly's my earth guide, says Jen. Kelly's my earth guide too.
Hop on, there's room back here.
You have no idea.
You're my guide, so it all works out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I've heard, James, and I have to tell you this. I have had more people send me emails to say the following. I had a dream with James last night. James was in my dream, and he was guiding me here, and he was guiding me there. Are you aware of that? I get asked that all the time.
Why do you think I'm always so tired? So this is very interesting. And after that, I'm going to read a little thing I wrote about the book about helping you get in touch with your guides. It's really interesting. Whenever I do workshops, I never, we never do them here physically. When the workshop ends here, we continue on the astral world. I continue workshops and doing things. And I help people on those levels, on those astral levels and the regions there. My brother called them regions, which I like. And I help people to continue, learning, understanding. It's like opening up that space for people, because it's such a freedom when you realize that, we're a soul having an experience, and it really helps. So it wouldn't be limited just here. Yeah, I've had a lot of people write letters a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So since I wrote this in my book, and it's called The Meeting Room, and I can do it if you want me to do that now.
Yeah, sure.
I'll do this, and then I'll do the other one that they gave me that I'll be channeling that. So
Okay.
So everybody close your eyes wherever you are now. And thank God you're not in front of the EMF computer. Closing your eyes. And as you close your eyes, become mindful of their space. So you can become aware of the space below you, and that you as a soul, you're not really limited to the physical body, but you go down far, far down through Mother Earth, right? And to the right side, as far as you can go. And the left side, let yourself fly and be free like a flower. And you can go above you as well, through the ceiling of your place or into the sky, and connect with Father Earth, with that divine light, your higher self, and a sphere of light. Maybe you'll pick up that. And then be aware of beautiful, beautiful, your breathing. So your breath enhances this beautiful energy, this beautiful space. So as you begin your breathing technique, as you inhale, let the energy come from the earth into your feet and move into your body. So inhale, exhale out of your mouth, and inhale. And now bring it to the top of your head and exhale. Good. And these energies of light and earth meet you in this beautiful heart space. So run your energy up and down and up your spine, up your legs to your heart chakra, and continue your breath. Become where you're filling up your heart space with light that's above you and earth energy below you. And use your imagination and visualize a beautiful room that is square in shape. And one whole wall of that room is taken up by a huge window that looks out to a lovely garden. Some of the window panes are open to let in a soft, perfumed breeze. Begin to feel the room with everything you love. Fill it up with everything you love: furniture, paintings, sculptures, photographs, everything that you love that represents you. All these articles represent you, your soul, yourself. It could also be a lot of items, or maybe a few. It doesn't matter how many. But in the center of the room, you want to place 2 chairs facing each other, and fill the corners of the room with your loving energy. Let that energy feel like you. It is your soul's room, and it is a place where you'll meet your guide. So sit in the chair facing the window and look out into the beautiful sunny garden. You'll see maybe rolling hills of green, favorite trees or flowers, maybe dotted all around. It's a perfect, beautiful setting. And you notice that the light is becoming brighter outside, brighter and brighter. And soon the whole window is filled with a beautiful white light. Your spirit guide has now arrived to meet you in your soul room. You can say, "Dear spirit guide, you are very welcome to join me." And the being comes through the window, so right through, and fills the room with more love than you've ever felt before. So let this one guide come in with much love that you never felt before. They know everything about you. They love you unconditionally and always has the best interest of your heart. Now let the guide express itself as it comes in and sits in front of you. And don't let your mind get in the way. Let your heart, that loving feeling of the energy of this guide in front of you. And what do you sense? What do you feel with this guide? What energies? What are the different ways that this guide helps you? And what is the message they have for you tonight? You can also ask, what name or how would you like to be recognized by me? You can ask a question about how they were incarnated or where they actually are from. Whatever comes into your mind is fine. Now, as you go deeper and deeper, I'm going to have a called a mind meld. Will you open up your mind and let your guide come closer to you now and mind meld with you? In other words, they really are impressing you so strongly in your mind, and listen to what they have to say, whether it's lessons, whether it's inspirations, whatever they want. Whatever that one guide wants. Good. Now you felt it. Don't overthink it. Good. And thank them. And you can also set up a time with them or ask them what time they want to come to you. What's the best time for you to sit and to become aware of them? That's fine. And slowly become aware once again of your feet on the floor, of your legs, of your backs, shoulders, arms, your heart, your neck, your ears, your eyes, your face. And slowly open up your eyes and become as one. Are you ready? Did you like that?
Oh my gosh.
That was from my book.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so did you see someone, feel someone, know someone?
I saw my mother sitting in an Ames chair. Sitting in an Ames chair.
I knew it, and she was leaning into you.
Leaning in.
I saw her. She was leaning into you.
It was. I didn't want to come out of it. It was like,
Kellee,
so
listen to me. Kellee, listen to me.
That's exactly right. So you were with us. James, my mom loved James so much. It's true.
She's very proud of you, Kellee. She's very proud of you, and she's about the family. She's taking care of the family business, and she's very proud of you for. I don't know if you made some certain choices just recently or life choices or changing things around, but she's very proud of your decisions. Does that make sense?
She wants me to keep teaching, and she's going to give me more things to teach.
Oh, good. Because you don't have enough to do now.
Because I don't have enough to teach right now, apparently. I'm like, okay, Mom.
Yeah, she'll guide you through that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was great. Oh, James, that was wonderful. Melissa said she had purple, loving, healing energy.
Good. So I have another one that they just gave me.
Okay. Yeah, you bet.
This is a quick one they told me I'm going to do. It's a new one. That's brand new. Okay. So everyone close your eyes and just connect again that feeling that you have, the earth energy. I always love to feel that my feet, the bottom of my feet go like roots down to the earth. Mm-hmm. And whenever they go all the way down, I thank Mother Earth. I connect with her and I bless her with gratitude. I have an attitude of gratitude for her because we just are so bad to her. We pollute her. It's just, so I send love there. Okay. And then the divine light above us, far, far above the Father's sky, that light feeling. In the middle of it is our heart. So I want everybody now to pay attention to their third eye. The third eye right in the middle of the forehead. Imagine now that there really is an eye there. And the eyelid opens up. And the eyeball is purple. You see the beautiful indigo purple light. And as you do, shining out of there are these rays of golden light shining out and on top of you and going toward the ceiling, if you will. And in this, each ray of that light, a face of a guide appears. So start from the right to the left. The first ray of light is all these rays like rainbow, but who's the first face that you see? Your spirit guides come through and ask them, and that's it. Just see the characteristic that is unique to that guide. Let them give you a certain characteristic. Maybe it's white hair with a beard. Maybe it's a certain smile. Maybe it's a certain energy that you feel. Maybe it's a smirk. Maybe it's a joke. Maybe it's a gesture with a hand. So go to each ray of light, yeah, like a semicircle, like maybe 4, yeah, and see who they are. And those are guides who come to you right now, who are with you. And you might see them change, but I'm very aware of 4 different guides here. Yeah. So that's it. So open up your eyes, and that's the exercise. Quick and fast, but it's strong. Thank you.
That was a great one. And you know, the very first time I ever saw, somebody took a picture of me, and all you could see was a third eye right there. So the way you described the third eye with an eye opening, I actually have seen that. That's actually accurate, James. So I love that they gave that to you.
They just gave me that.
Yeah, that's very accurate with the third eye. Yeah. Wow. Very powerful.
I saw a man that looked like Colonel Sanders with a white beard, goatee.
Oh.
There was another guy that was smirking, laughing. A lady here, very little serious, more like very much a well-learned lady, literature. She was all about literature. That she came close to me, almost like I felt like a librarian, which is really interesting because I used to want to be a librarian. It's really interesting. I used to work in a library. It's fascinating.
Oh.
I used to go there every Saturday too when I was a kid.
Yeah,
information. And there was someone over here, another man, 3 men. That's they showed me. That was more of a teacher feeling. That's why.
Is it to help with the latest projects, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. I do think so. I always feel around me medical teams. Mm-hmm. This is a great one, Kellee. I gotta tell you this. I did talk before. It's really worth repeating. I was once in. God, she's coming to me, which is really interesting. Lulu, her name is Lulu. Your mother brought her in. Thank you. Her name was Lulu too.
Yeah, and so's my granddaughter.
It's weird. Yeah. So I went to Florida to this near Fort Lauderdale, and a good friend of mine, who's probably since passed over, said she's a wonderful healer. She has a healing sanctuary. I said, oh, okay, let's go. So we went and met this lady who was like 4 foot, I don't know, 5, and her name was Lulu. And she had a healing center, and there was a house, and she had 3 different large bedrooms where there were multiple beds. It's big enough for multiple beds. So there was the green room, the pink room, the blue room, and they were reserved for green for healing. Pink, I think, was unconditional love. Blue was expressing oneself and self-love. So it's all different. And she would tell you as you met with her, you sat and spoke with her for a little bit, had a drink of water, or somebody spoke for a little bit, and she would be able to tell intuitively which room to put you in, which bed you belonged in, just intuitively greeting you. And so myself, my friend Patricia, were the only ones there, which was great. We went to I think it was 2 houses. So we had a place. They went to another house that had 3 rooms, as it was. And we stayed I think it was the pink room. Don't fully remember, green or pink. And when I say that, I mean, it was like the bedspreads were green or pink or blue. So she set her on one side and mine. She laid us down. And what she would do is she would go to each person. So she went to Patricia and she tucks her in and tells her a bedtime story about herself and literally tucks her in, right? And then so she came to me, which is, as when she's talking to her, I'm lying in the bed with my eyes closed, but I'm aware in the middle of the room, there's a team of like nurses and doctors. They had like white jackets on, white coats and white uniforms. And they were the healing team that she worked with, I guess. And it was so interesting. Excuse me, there were two other people involved. Because I was seeing a bunch of them peel off and go to she worked on one person across the room, first tucked them in, got them ready. They went to them. And then a group went to Patricia. And I think I was the last one. And I was so freaked out, not freaked out, but like amazed to see that. It was so weird, real. And she explained that you might see these things. And she said, you might feel things too. Sure enough, I closed my eyes. I knew these beings were around me. And I felt them readjusting my spine. And they were just like, whoa. And you felt it. And you felt them work on manipulating the spine and letting the energy flow through. And it was amazing. And afterwards, and she leaves or tucks you in, she leaves, let you experience it. And then afterwards, probably about 15 minutes, 20 minutes most, then you when you're ready, you'll get up and you'll go back to the main house and sit and have a cup of tea and talk about your experience and share.
Wow. That's something.
With a trip. I've had some major trips in my life.
I hope you put that in your book, in your autobiography.
I will. I'll write all about my.
That's a good one.
Good one. I've had so many that
I know.
incredible experiences, and one thing I can say is I certainly kept them. I have gratitude for each one because I appreciate each one because I knew they'd be important in my life and to share them.
Wow. That's a great one, and people were loving that.
Good. Use that.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, James, let's talk about a couple of things here. You've got a
month of love for me. So I'm doing every day a Facebook Live, talk about a word of the day, which is all about love. And today's word was passion. So you have to find what your passion is and work toward your passion, whether it's writing or poetry. So that's on my Facebook. So tomorrow I'll have another word for everybody. So the words at the end of the month.
I love it.
At the end of the month, February 28th, which is the day my mother passed, I'm doing a very special kind of love spirit connection and evening of spirit. Just 10 people. I'm doing readings for 10 people. And we've signed up. I think we have 2 people signed up. So we have room for 8 more people. And that's all.
And that is a huge deal for everybody. If you're only taking that tiny of a group, everybody will get a reading.
Makes it easier for them and for me.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be great, though. People will be so fortunate to attend that.
It's very true.
Oh my gosh! And then you have also a trip to Maui.
Yes, I have my daughter wants to come.
Okay, let's see, Pearly. She's the best. She's the sweetest girl.
Hi, Baba.
Hi, Pearly.
Hi.
Oh my gosh! Remember when we were in Burbank together? She was at the hotel. Everybody loved her. Hi, Pearl.
Workshop yesterday, right?
Hi. Oh, she's such a sweet girl.
She's talking about a guide. So Maui is I'm really excited about that. I'm only doing one retreat this year, and the only retreat I've decided was with my friend Sue White, who's my yoga Pilates teacher. We do it right behind me here in this carpet. And one day I said, you are such a great teacher, and you're such a healer that we should work together. She does retreats all over the world. She's doing in Greece in the summer. She's doing another one. But we decided to do a retreat in Maui. So for 20 people. So we have,
and that's it. You're only taking 20 people.
20. It's rooms for 20. It's a great resort.
Wow.
It's called Soul Retreat, and work on the mind, the body, and the spirit. We're talking about the mind, what's holding on to you, what's entanglements. The word comes entanglements of your mind.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that for a full day. Then we're doing the body and different what your whole body's holding on to, and to present postures that can release certain trauma you're holding on to. And of course, the third is the intuition and mediumship. That's the third day. And we're going to do an ecstatic dance the second night.
How fun.
I'm going to have stuff at the beach. So it's really great. And only 20 people. So that's on my website, vanpraagh.com.
Oh, my gosh. That sounds like so much fun.
And Kellee, you're doing something with a crystal night. Crystal.
I have, I'll tell you that one. I have a crystal class coming up with Julie-Ann Siegel, and I've taught a lot with Julie-Ann. And this is unlocking energy and harmony and design. And this is going to be on April 26th. And it's a 2-hour class in the morning from 10 a.m. Central Time to noon. And we're going to be discovering crystal energy. And we're going to talk about from feng shui and placement of crystals. Because, people will say, where do I place this crystal? And what does this crystal mean? And we're going to go over and review quite a few crystals.
And we're talking about crystal grid, Kellee? Crystal grid?
Well, we're not going to do crystal grids, but we're going to do crystals in design and where you place a crystal, where a certain energy of a crystal should go. And it's going to be a great
on our show. I remember her on our show, of course.
Well, she's terrific. And we're going to have the special package that's been curated for us from the Crystal Shrine in Burbank. Remember Shauna's the Crystal Shrine?
Of course.
She has a set of crystals that will be, you can get at a special price for our class. Wow. And that class is April 26th. But I also have a different type of class also on April 5th. And this is Empowering Living with Autism. So if you know somebody who's autistic, or if you know a parent that really needs some help with figuring this out, I'm actually teaching this with Prajna Avalon, who was diagnosed autistic. And it's going to be very empowering.
She was diagnosed.
Exactly. As an adult last year. I mean, but we're going to be talking about understanding of it and the unique gifts, because James, these autistic souls that come in are so unique, and it's a superpower. So we're really going to be talking about how to nurture that and discover practical strategies and thriving. And so it's going to be a very energetic class. So that join us if you can. KelleeWhite.com. And I just opened my March calendar for March. It's just opened today, as a matter of fact. So
you do how many readings you do a week, Kellee?
I do I only work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But
I tried slowing her down, but she has such a heart.
I'm gonna say I love what I do.
Me say I love Kellee White. She did such a great reading for me. I mean, a lot of people when I'm out there in the public, they say that.
Thank you so much, honey. Thank you. Well, and next week we have a really fun show because we have a special guest on next week.
Yes, we do. Who is that exactly?
I'm going to tell you who it is. It's Maureen Hancock.
My good
friend. It's going to be so fun.
She's one of the best mediums I've ever met in my life. And we worked together this past summer. And I did like 5 or 6 readings. She did about 20. And
she has a lot of energy.
A lot of energy. She's fabulous. Really kind heart. And
funny.
Yeah, I would do a show with her in the second. She's a great medium and funny. So definitely tune in tomorrow.
Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks,
everybody. Thanks,
Take
Kellee.
care.
Thanks, Renee. Bye-bye, everybody.